Hello everyone, I'm Nitsahon. Welcome back to Kaladesh Limited Review Week on my channel. Every time a new set comes out, I post a limited review video every day from the day it is spoiled until the pre-release. In these videos, I talk about my initial impressions about the format. Today, I continue my color-by-color review of the best commons and uncommons in the format with green. The last few days I've covered the other four colors, and tomorrow I will continue with looking at the best colorless commons and uncommons, and follow that up with an archetype video, as well as a few top 10 lists relating to the format. For now, though, let's look at the best green uncommons. Green is deep enough in uncommons that I wanted to make one honorable mention for best green uncommon in Kaladesh, and that is Arborback Stomper. This guy is a pretty ideal 5-drop. He would be playable as a 5-mana 5/4 with Trample, but on top of that he also gains you 5 life. He's a large and difficult creature to deal with, and even if your opponent does, they're usually going to have to trade a card while you at least gain some value while gaining some life, and you may even get in for some damage because of Trample. I think most green decks will be wanting one copy of this guy, though there are 3 green uncommons that I think are better. I think the third best green uncommon is Long Tusk Cub. It reminds me a lot of cards like Undercity Troll and Topin Freeblade from Magic Origins. These were creatures with the Renown mechanic. This guy kind of has the same sort of snowballing effect. Basically, if this guy starts getting in for damage, he gets larger and larger and gets more out of control in a hurry. What's more is, he doesn't actually have to get in for damage himself. He can use energy produced by other cards to make sure he's too big to block, and then produce even more energy. Green, along with red, I think, are the colors that love energy the most, and Long Tusk Cub, while it fits great into any green deck, will probably be at his happiest there. And he's great too because, unlike a lot of 2-drops, he can be relevant in the later part of the game. If you start producing energy, suddenly he can get big. So that's a nice little bonus he brings you. At number 2, I have another card that produces energy, Servant of the Conduit. She produces some energy for you to use, and then you can convert that energy into mana of any color. This means she helps you both ramp and fix, and she seems like a reasonably high pick for a green deck. Maybe not first pickable, but I don't think too far off. On top of her ability to ramp, she actually has a reasonable body for a 2-mana mana dork and can get in for some damage too or trade. The best uncommon in green may also be the best uncommon in the set, or at least in the running for it, and it is Nature's Way. Remember how Rabid Bite was really good? Well, Nature's Way is way better. For the same cost of 1 and a green, you can have one of your creatures punch one of your opponent's creatures, as opposed to fighting, since the creature doesn't take any damage. Your creature, that is. Not only that, your creature gets vigilance and trample too, so after it kills off a creature, it can get in for some damage of its own thanks to trample, and if it survives combat, it can then also block because it has vigilance. So it's crazy. It's like multiple cards of value in one card. It's incredible. So that is definitely first pickable. Nature's Way, very first pickable. So let's move to commons. I think there are so many good green commons that I want to make a couple honorable mentions. One of these is Riparian Tiger. It's another card that produces and cares about energy. The first time the Tiger swings, you can make it a 6/6, and that's just in a vacuum. And it already has trample, so that's kind of a scary thing. If your deck is particularly adept at producing energy, he can be an unstoppable force. Making him into an 8/8 or 10/10 for a turn is not an easy thing to deal with. I think most green decks will want one of a Riparian Tiger just because it's a nice top curve, and it'll especially want it if it can produce energy. The other card I want to mention before getting into the top 3 green commons is Wild Wanderer. She helps green decks fix and ramp while also having a reasonable body to go with it. Not much more to say about her, but she can definitely be the kind of card you want to pick up in a green deck if you're looking to splash a bomb or a removal spell or something like that. In terms of commons, green is also pretty stacked, obviously, since we had the honorable mentions. Thriving Rhino, I think, is the best of the Thriving cycle, and it isn't hard to make him a 3/4 swinging on turn 4, and he stays that big because it's a +1/+1 counter. If your deck is good at producing energy, he can be really scary, and I can imagine myself groaning a lot if I am off to a slow start and my opponent plays a Thriving Rhino on curve that my 2/2s just can't block. Even my 3/3s won't be able to block it. The second best common is Pima Outrider. It's really good. For 4 mana, you either get a 4/4 Trampler or a 3/3 and a 1/1 Servo. Unlike most of the cards that make servo tokens, I think the right choice with the Outrider will more frequently be to give it the +1/+1 counter, making it a 4 mana 4/4 with Trample. A force to be reckoned with at that stage in the game, but on top of that, it does have the nice added flexibility of giving you an artifact if you need it. I think the best common in green is Hunt the Weak. We've seen the card before, and it has also been a great removal spell for green when it's appeared its other times. This is a set that also cares a little bit about +1/+1 counters, so it isn't irrelevant that your creature gets one. It has the usual downside that most green removal spells have. If you cast it into your opponent's open mana, you might get blown out, so save it until your opponent is tapped out. Well, that does it with today's limited review video. I'll be back tomorrow with the best common and uncommon colorless cards. Also, if you haven't yet, enter my Kaladesh giveaway. There should be an annotation leading you there on the screen now. Also, if you found the video useful, don't forget to click the like button. If you disagree with some of my picks, let me know in the comments. And if you want to make sure you catch the rest of my Kaladesh limited review and all future limited reviews for future sets, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.